Welcome to the Parkland Report. My name is Seamus Riley. Joining me on this segment of the Parkland Report, Terry Thies, who coordinates College for Kids at Parkland College. Welcome to the Parkland Report.
Thank you, Seamus. It's good to be here.
Tell me, how long have you been doing this?
This will be my third summer working with business training and community education and coordinating our youth programs that take place not only in the summer but also in the academic year for youth as well.
So part of our engaging the community in learning is we want to engage everybody in learning,
Absolutely.
right? So talk a little bit about College for Kids. This is a long-standing program. How long has it been in operation for?
We celebrated our 35th anniversary, I think it was 3 years ago, so this should probably be our 38th summer.
Wow.
So you're right, we've been around in the community a long, long time. We even have children that are now attending the program whose parents attended, so it's really wonderful to see that tradition continue in families.
What is the idea behind College for Kids?
Right. College for Kids is a summer enrichment camp, so we are planning classes for students who are ages 8 to 13 years old that will introduce them to all types of topics and lessons and ideas that they can explore, and it's really based on a STEAM model, so we offer science, technology, engineering, arts, and math classes in addition to culinary. We do some acting, improv classes, a lot of music. So the idea is that we just expose kids to all these wonderful activities that they can explore and really help them delve into these classes that allow them to do different types of projects that they may never get the chance to do in their academic year just because there's not time in the school year.
So we're familiar with the concept of summer camps and activities and
right.
sort of day camps for children during the summer, and they get to do different things. But College for Kids is not that, right? I mean, College for Kids is really a different type of approach, and part of that is got to do, I think, with the quality of the instructors, right, that we have working on the camp.
Absolutely, right. We are not a program where parents have their kids with us all day long during the summer. We're more concentrated. It's a half-day program, and many of our classes are taught by Parkland professors, so that's wonderful. And then we also have a lot of instructors who are from the local schools, from the community, and then we also have some people from the University of Illinois that also want to teach with us. So the quality of instruction is phenomenal. Kids are really exposed to people who know a lot in the particular field that they're teaching, and that just benefits the students so much. Plus our classes are small, so kids aren't with a huge group of 30, 40, 50 kids during the day. They're with smaller groups of 10, 12, maybe 14 or so. So they really get a lot of hands-on experiences and attention from these great teachers.
You talked about the STEAM model. So how do you go about sort of designing and setting up the summer? I mean, are you trying to add new things? Are you trying to keep pace with evolving technology as it comes out?
Absolutely. We always want to bring in new programs for our kids. And one reason is because we have kids who come back every summer. So we want to offer them something new each year. But we do research. That's part of my job, is to find out what's trending for kids and what they like and what they enjoy. So if you like, I can tell you about a few of the new programs that we're offering.
Yeah.
So we're introducing a new robotics course. In the past, we've offered sort of a robotics course with the Legos that is for younger kids, and we've done the Lego Mindstorm. Well, this year we're also adding to the VEX IQ robotics, so we're purchasing new equipment for that class this year, and that is a class that will allow kids to do things with robotics that are remotely controlled, and it's really a wonderful, wonderful system for them. So that's something in the technology. Also in technology, we're offering a slime sensations class, and that's something that's been trending with kids for a little while. Slime is really in, so the kids in the slime sensation class will learn how to make slime, and then they'll get to do some technology. It'll bring technology in as well, and they'll learn how to market this product that they've made, and they'll make their own movies to promote the slime that they've created. We have a new monster an animation in space. So kids will learn lots of different animation techniques, including stopgap and clay animation with a space theme. And then we have a monster coding class. So kids that are really into sort of that monster theme will enjoy learning to code with this. So those are new. Also, in terms of technology, though, we do have our amazing app class, so they learn to develop apps, and then also our create your own web page, and that's been around for a couple of years because it's so popular.
So some of the things you're talking about are requiring not just an awful lot of technology, but also a lot of kind of well-prepared sort of professors, right? People who are experts in the field. But also, this isn't just an observation kind of piece, or it's an introduction piece. I mean, there's a practical application, right? So in lots of these courses, the students are, I assume, coming out with a finished product or sort of a prototype of something that they've actually created.
With the web pages, they will have created a web page. With the app class, they'll actually design it. We don't quite have enough time to develop a full app, but they'll have the design. In all of our arts classes, they're constantly producing something. So at the end, they have some really wonderful finished art projects that they'll bring home. We have 2 music classes this year and an improv class that's been offered for a couple of years now. And those kids walk away with not only some tangible things that they've learned in order how to sing better a cappella or be a part of a jazz combo, but they've learned some sort of intangible skills as well, how to perform, how to have self-confidence, how to be up in front of people and share your talents. So sometimes they take away very tangible evidence of something they've done in the class, but there are a lot of intangibles that they take away with as well.
So I know a number of years ago we did some evaluation of the connection between College for Kids and students who end up coming to Parkland full-time, and we found there was a really nice productive sort of train there that brought people from one place to the other. Do you find that students come back year after year through their middle school experience?
For the camps, yes. Yeah, we do have a number of students that come back every year, and a few even take the same class over again. If they found one that they like and we happen to offer it again, they'll be right back in that same class because they enjoy it so much. But yes, we do have continuity, and some younger siblings will follow their older siblings and participate in College for Kids as well. And then, as you said, hopefully they'll get to see all the wonderful resources that Parkland has, and then eventually consider it as an option for them later.
Talk to me a little bit about the experience of working not just with our faculty and faculty from the community, but also working with the facilities here at Parkland College.
The facilities are great. So, for instance, in our culinary classes, they're able to use the hospitality kitchen that Parkland has, and it's a wonderful experience to be in that kitchen where older students are learning about things that will take them far into their careers. So we've got that. The black stage and our black box we often use for our improv classes. The art rooms are phenomenal, so you can't beat those. They're just fantastic for students to get in there and do ceramics, and with Denise Seif, who will be talking a little bit later, to do the jewelry and metal making classes that we offer with all those tools at their disposal. So the resources are really a wonderful asset to this program. We couldn't do without it.
Just to circle back to something you said earlier, a lot of times now kids have so much exposure to technology that they can identify or connect with privately, right? So through the internet or whatever. But part of the experience of College for Kids is that it builds some other skills, which are collaborative skills and partnering skills, and sort of learning about yourself and how you work with others. Talk a little bit about sort of how you see the students come together as a group collaboratively in some of the programs.
In most of our classes, there is group work. So it may be a small group of 2 or 3, or maybe a group of 5 or 6, but they're all working together in groups. And they get to learn and meet these new friends and learn how to work together. And for some of them, they may not have done a lot of that, so it takes a little adaptation on their part. But that is a very important skill for students to walk away with, is to be able to collaborate and work with others. So we really stress that. We think that's an important part. And the projects that they are able to make then are just that much better because they're working with their friends and their peers.
Have you seen an evolution in terms of the children coming through the program, in terms of their sophistication? I mean, even in the short time that you've been working with it?
Certainly. They know a lot. They're all smart, bright, curious kids, and they have great technology skills to begin with. Last year, Dean Guyton from the radio station here at Parkland invited some of the kids to come on and interview with him on the radio, and they were so comfortable just walking in and sitting in the studio and with all his technology around, and they had a great time, and they're very adept at using technology in any form. So they are very sophisticated, very smart, and those are the kids that we love to draw because they enjoy our programs.
When the students come, they're exposed to a much larger building maybe than they are used to. How does Parkland College feel to them as they're encountering it?
For some, it feels very big, and some are just so adventurous. They love it. They think it's really neat to be on a bigger campus than their elementary or middle school. But despite the fact that it may feel very big, one of the things we strive to do is present a very safe program. So the kids are escorted from class to class, and then during the break between classes, they're always well supervised. So it will never feel so big to them that they feel like they have to get around on their own, because we make sure that they're very safe and we escort them everywhere, and that's something parents appreciate as well.
We know it's a very, very high quality program. It's also really, really good value. I mean, if you were to go out into the private market and try to access these sort of quality of teaching and the quality of facilities and the lessons that you're learning, I mean, that would be a very expensive proposition, but College for Kids is relatively good value.
It is. It's $159 for a class, and that is a good value in the community. So we hope parents can appreciate that we've really tried to make this a value-based program as well, not only just in what we offer for the kids to learn and explore, but financially as well. And we do have some scholarships that are available thanks to the generosity of the Parkland Foundation and the Parkland community who donate to that, as well as some local civic groups like the Champaign-Urbana Kiwanis Club and the Rotary and the Junior League. Those have also sponsored us in the past. So that makes it possible for us to offer some scholarships for students.
And of course, we want to expand and offer as many opportunities to students as we possibly can.
We do, we do.
We'll be right back after this short break.
Today's program is the Lost Dutchman's Gold Mine, or the search for the Lost Dutchman's Gold Mine.
Today we came for leadership training or guidance, I guess, and we split off in groups and had to do a little exercise. It was actually a game where we pretended to be gold miners, and we had to communicate with each other and collaborate with each other.
It was a nice team building exercise where separated into groups, and we each had to figure out a plan of action for making it to a specified destination and spend the most amount of time there and collect as much resources as we could, and then make it back to our starting point again.
Lost Dutchman's Gold Mine is an opportunity for them to do a 20-day expedition where they go out into the wilderness to mine gold. They have to manage their resources, manage their fuel consumption, and in this process they have to learn what resources they have, what resources they need, how can we share and collaborate with other teams to maximize our efficiencies. And as is typically the case, we get to the end of the expedition and we find out that although teams did well, they could have done better. If only they had taken the time to share the resources, if they'd taken the time to ask the questions.
We won, technically, I guess you could say, but we lost the overall picture of the actual resource.
They really come into this without any information. In fact, this is one of those classes where I share very little information prior to the class, specifically for that reason. We want to give them the opportunity. You look at today's group, they came in, we had 6 teams set up, and you could tell every department from the organization based upon where they were. Purchasing all sat together, sales all sat together. They tend to put themselves into these smaller teams and then compete internally against each other for resources, and that really suboptimizes performance for the organization.
I came in expecting more of just a structured type lecture, I guess, on leadership, and came out with eye-opening experience.
I hope they take from this that we need to work together, we need to communicate more, we need to open up the lines of communication for effective teamwork. Organizations are not about what an individual can do, it's about what the team can do, how we together perform. And we really need organizations to move to that next level. The next level consists of people openly communicating, sharing information, working for what's best for the bigger good, the organization, as opposed to my shift, my team, my department.
Takeaway from today would be just that to not focus on, I guess in my case, the office, focus on the entire plant as far as what can make everyone better, not just my office better.
Not to be so competitive, that there's a bigger picture to it versus the main goal, and you think that the main goal is to get all of the gold and you forget the biggest picture, and that's working together with other people.
I think it was a great exercise. It's very beneficial. Go in with an open mind, because I know a lot of these training sessions that a lot of companies do are not as good as this one, not nearly close.
The class I took was the Highway Construction Careers Training Program. I took that course pretty much because I was tired of working dead-end jobs, and I was ready for a career. And me taking that class, I felt like it was going to fast track me into a career. My favorite part of the class would have to have been the heavy equipment training, when we got to ride, different heavy equipment. My future goal would be, I want to sell commercial and residential properties, like buy properties and sell them, pretty much flip properties.
Welcome back to the Parkland Report. Joining me now, Chris Foster and Denise Seif, both College for Kids instructors. I think, Chris, you've been doing this for quite a while.
Yeah, I've been at Parkland for almost 11 years, and I've been doing College for Kids almost my whole time since I've been here. So I think this will either be my 10th or 11th summer doing it.
And Denise, how about you? How long have you been working with College for Kids?
This will only be my 3rd summer doing it, so I'm the newbie.
Yeah, relatively.
Yeah.
So, but you've been at Parkland for a long time,
Yeah.
and you are a great example of one of the great instructors that we have that these students get an opportunity to work with, right? I mean, this
Right.
is an incredible opportunity for them to work with an accomplished artist like yourself. So talk to me about the class that you do.
So I teach metalwork and jewelry class, and the students actually get to use the metal studio that we have. So the same equipment that the college students come in and work with, they're doing the same thing. So they learn how to solder and rivet. We get to work with some of the more advanced tools like roll printing. So the earrings that I have on were made by a student that did the class. So they got to play with that. Last year we made a container, lidded container. That was something different. This year they're going to be working with the hydraulic press that we have.
Wow.
So they'll be doing some forming. So it gives them a chance to try things that they probably wouldn't have exposure to in other situations. They get to, like I tell them, they're doing the same things that my college students do as far as starting out. They learn how to saw, they learn how to solder using torches and silver solder, and they're riveting, working all the materials and things that the advanced metal students get.
Is it a big leap for them to think about, like, I like jewelry, I like to wear jewelry, I think it must be pretty easy to make, and then come in and go, wow, there's an awful lot to this.
Yeah, and you're not quite getting the cast pieces that you find like
Right.
at the stores. But as far as them being creative and making stuff, everybody's been really successful. They are, the group that tends to take it already have kind of a creative bug. And so they get a lot of freedom to do the designs that they want, and I'm just the technical assistant. So it's pretty interesting to see the variety of stuff that comes out.
Right.
So. But they make that leap pretty well.
So Chris, for you as well, lights, camera, action, I mean, it's what kid doesn't want to do that or make something where, like, I mean, movies filmmaking and TV are sort of the great communicating tools. So talk to me a little bit about how you conceived of the class. What was your idea behind it?
We used the exact space we're sitting in right now, and I just wanted to give the kids an idea of what it's like to be involved in making their own TV shows. So kind of run through it. Those days that, like you kind of just said, they love the camera, but there are days when we're not using the cameras, because if you want to have something to do, you have to write it, right? Those days are tough sometimes because they always want to be playing with the cameras. But basically, they break into groups. They have several projects they do throughout the weeks. They have like an infomercial that they do, so they get to write their own infomercial and then perform that. Then they get to do like a talk show type thing, and it's really lenient format. They can kind of really have fun with it and do with it what they want. So they have the infomercials and the talk shows, and then we finish the whole class with a game show, and we play like a Jeopardy style game.
Very good. So I think one of the most difficult things related to TV and film is that like we have this sense of what it looks like as we receive it on the screen, but when you actually get into the process of making it, I mean, the thing that always surprises me, like if you see a TV set, for example, like Saturday Night Live or something, it's incredibly cramped, it's incredibly small, but when you're looking at it on the TV screen, it looks like ginormous and huge and like a different world. How do students react to the reality versus the simulation that they get on the screen?
They're actually normally pretty good with the set. They don't normally say anything about that. The biggest thing that's kind of hardest to get across to the kids is, I mean, they're just kids, they're not training to necessarily be professionals, but if the mistake is made or if something goes wrong, they can tend to be like, oh man, and I can't believe, oh look, we're messing this up, instead of just kind of continuing to go and not be worried about it, and then we can fix it later or try it again. Sometimes that's kind of the hardest thing for them, is to get over that if they make a mistake, they can just keep going instead of just stopping and being worried about it.
Well, you talked about the writing and the other components that go into making TV real, and one of them is, continuity. You don't want to stop, you don't want to break character, you don't want to, interrupt the narrative flow. I mean, you got to keep going, because if you stop, then everybody knows. If you don't stop, nobody knows, right?
Right.
But that's another piece of it, right? So that like our perception that it's only one thing, it's not. It's made up of many, many different processes that go into it.
Yeah, absolutely. And the way that the class is set up, the kids rotate through. So if they're on camera, then their other group would be running cameras, and then another group would be back in the control room doing the control room stuff. So maybe someone comes in saying they want to be an they want to get on camera stuff, where they're going to get that, but they're also going to learn the behind the scenes stuff as well. And that may be hard for some, but I always tell them it's important. If you want to be on camera, you need to understand what's going on behind it too, so that you understand what they're going through and what they're doing when you're on camera, and vice versa.
So part of this, of course, as well, is building the critical skills and understanding of how to work collaboratively with people, and learning all of the components that go into it. So it's really building a very well-rounded experience for the children.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, and TV, video production, more than anything, it's a team thing. So they're definitely learning to rely on each other and work together. They come in as 13, 14 kids that didn't know each other, and they have to work together to pull off what they want to pull off. So it's an important thing for them to learn.
Denise, you mentioned the creativity aspect, and you said some of the students come in already with sort of like they want to make things, they want to be makers, right? They want to have some ideas. Art making can often be a sort of a solitary experience for the artist, but I think probably in your experience, I mean, there has to be some collaborative aspects in terms of understanding how to work in a safe space, right?
Yeah, and one of the other things is, I mean, there's the process of going through things, and so they all, like with the solderings, inevitably something goes a little bit wrong, and so they all understand, and they get kind of, oh, this is what I did when that happened. And so there is that, even though they're working on their own piece, they still get to see what everybody else is doing, and they're still kind of talking about the process as they're doing it. So they're all learning together. All of them, very few people have metalworking experience coming in, so they're all beginners. Although I have had some students that have repeated the class, and that's part of the reason why I changed some of the things that we're doing, so that if they do repeat it, they're still getting something new. So sometimes those guys will step up and say, well, when I did that project. So it's not quite as the team building that what you would have in the TV station, but definitely there's still a community when they come out of that class. It's kind of fun to see them as a group kind of gelling.
So I'd imagine that there's a pretty steep curve in terms of getting used to the materials and getting used to working with, real equipment that could hurt you, and you have to be careful. And I've worked with metal, and you can get pieces stuck in you, and it's not fun, right?
We haven't had any problems with any of that kind of stuff. But yeah, like this piece is the first day. They make something the first day, and it's basically just folders, and they learn how to do a rivet. So cold joining. So they're learning a technique on that first day. They're coming out with the piece. So we do try and make it so that they, they won't come out with a piece every single day. Some of the more advanced projects take a little bit more time, but they do have that sense that they can accomplish something, especially in the first day, to get them kind of introduced to it.
And of course, for artists who are used to working independently but also working collaboratively and getting ideas from other artists and working in a sort of shared space or like an artist colony or whatever, when you get over the sort of like mechanical piece of learning how to work with the materials, do you then begin to get some sort of sense of community where the students are learning off each other or sort of gathering ideas or brainstorming with?
Absolutely. Because the space that we're working in is kind of small and they share, their benches are right across from one another. So there's conversations. Last year there were some that were in the a cappella group, so they were singing as they were working. So it's kind of a festive attitude, but we're still safe. They're still, you know, learning how to use the tools properly and that kind of stuff too. So it seems like it's, they always have a good time. And I was kind of hesitant starting it, but I wanted to do something that was for kind of the older age kids, and they love it. I mean, I was encouraged, and that's why I'm continuing to do it, because they really seem to have a great time, and I had a great time with them.
Right.
So I'm like, I want to be back. I want to do it again.
So I was going to ask about that, because typically, you know, we have sort of split teaching into you're a primary or a secondary or tertiary teacher, and we don't often blend, go back and forth.
Right.
But I think maybe what you're describing is the experience of these students really having some interesting perspective and actually can learn at the same
and
sort
a lot
of speed.
of energy. They're really, you know, they're kids, and so they really get into it, and they really have this energy for, you know, they're going to try it and go, and they're not kind of taken aback by, you know, expectations kind of thing. They're willing to try.
And the College for Kids focus on the STEAM, you know, the science,
Right.
technology, engineering, art, and music is sort of basically also cultivating a lifelong love of learning and being curious and trying new things. And so that certainly has
And
to play.
problem solving.
Right.
It's critical thinking is big in that too.
Yeah, very good. Chris, what about for you as well, in terms of you've been doing this for a long time? Have you had the opportunity to see some students who've gone through your program end up out here at Parkland College and show up in your classes?
I don't know if I've run into that quite yet. I mean, I know I've run into people that that I see older, and I'm like, I feel like I know that person, and then I kind of remember who it is.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I've actually seen any of them out here at Parkland, but just kind of thinking back, like listening to Terry earlier. You know, I've had siblings take the class together. I've had a younger sibling come in and say, my brother took this class 5 years ago. I've had people take it I think I've even had someone once take it 3 times.
Wow.
So, you know, you kind of get to know the kids, and it's just fun, you know, being able to see them have fun and learn. And just with Denise's class too, they're not going to get the opportunity to get their hands on this kind of stuff unless they come out to something like this. So I think it's really cool seeing how excited they get being able to do that.
Right, and even for students who are not necessarily going into this, they're being exposed to a different way of thinking about things, they're developing critical thinking skills, they're having a good experience, and it may be an opportunity for them to say, hey, I thought I might want to do that, but now I actually know I want to do something else. So you may be actually triggering another concept. Or
Right,
idea.
absolutely. I mean, it's not always, hey, I'm going to be a TV star. Maybe it's like, okay, this is kind of fun, but maybe it's not what I want to do for my life now or whatever. And I have a pretty wide range. I think I go 3rd through 7th grade, which can be challenging sometimes with that big age range. But when you get a 7th grader here, they're starting to maybe think a little bit about what they might be wanting to do long term. So.
Well, thanks so much for taking the time to come in today, and all the good work that you do here at the College for Kids. That's it for this time. We'll see you back here next time.